Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. So, leg day today, which is obviously going to be very, very fun. Now, as we're waiting for the car to warm up and probably as we drive to the gym, I wanted to talk about one and only one thing. And that is actually one of the most underrated things when it comes to muscle growth. And obviously it's not going to be the most important thing for muscle growth, but it is an underrated thing that people are not using. And that is variation of exercise. Now, if you are new to the gym, like first year, let's say, of actually going to the gym consistently, this doesn't really apply to you. You know, you can just go lift weights, do what you like. You're going to see great results if you're consistent with it, right? But for the rest of us, especially for someone who's advanced, variation is actually king. I do talk about this on the ebook extensively, but essentially the reason that I'm saying variation is king is because each person has about 3 or 4 exercises per muscle group, which they're going to be the best exercise for that person to grow the most muscle from. And the only way to find out what are these 4 exercises for you specifically is to actually try quite a few of them at the same time and figure out which one works the best. To do that, you have to try its exercise for a few months ideally, so you can tell if it actually works, unless it obviously feels terrible from the get-go. If that's the case, well, then don't do that exercise. Now, when I say feel terrible, it could be a number of things, right? One of the things that could make an exercise feel terrible are your joints. People vary greatly, right? So you have to find out what makes an exercise great for you and what doesn't. So for me, when I'm eating on a surplus specifically, squats are amazing. It's an amazing exercise. But when I'm on a calorie deficit and I'm getting lean and more lean than last time, then squats are not an excellent exercise anymore. They just become less of an optimal exercise because they put a ton of strain on my lower back. They're highly technical, they build up a ton of systemic fatigue and so on and so forth. So you can use different exercises depending on your goals and the time of the year, especially if you're like a bodybuilder and you cut and bulk, or bulk and cut rather. This popped in mind because of the new gym and how many different machines they have. I now have a couple of machines that I can say that this machine is going to be very good for the next couple of months. And then I'm going to alternate, right? I'm going to go back, I'm going to switch some exercises with some others when I see that I hit a plateau. And that's what you want to do, because it's inevitable. Guys who've been going to the gym know exactly what I'm talking about. You've been doing an exercise for a year straight and you just hit a plateau. And it's not just physical, right? It's mental too. Because you don't really want to go to the gym and do this exercise anymore, right? So that doesn't mean that you're not going to do it ever again, right? But you are going to take a break from it, and then you're going to do something else for a few months, and then you might come back to it. That's fine. But you need to find out what are these 3 or 4 exercises per muscle group for yourself. And then now you have a list, right? So you can literally alternate between the 4 exercises throughout your years in the gym, and that will give you the most muscle growth. The other reason scientifically now that variation gives you more growth is because each exercise hits the muscle a little bit different each time, right? So different ankle, it uses different fibers on the same muscle group, right? That's because you're doing quads. It doesn't mean that every quad exercise targets the quads the same. That's not how it works. So you want to do as many exercises as possible so you can grow your quad to its most potential, to kind of like use all of its potential, if it makes sense. So variation is king. Do not be afraid to test out new machines. Do not be afraid to do a new exercise. If you see one online and you're like, that's interesting, let's try it. Let's see what happens. Definitely do it. Definitely do it. You might benefit a lot from it too. They might find a new favorite exercise like I have with this new gym and all the machines that they have, right? So yeah, give it a go. Don't be afraid to try new stuff. There is no optimal exercise which is best for muscle growth or best for strength. It doesn't work like that, all right? There are different exercises that do different things for different people. It's so the variables change all the time when you're talking about a lot of people. So it's not, I can't go out and say this is the best exercise to grow your quads. It doesn't, it will be wrong. It will be just incorrect misinformation. You just have to do what you have to do, see what works for you, and you can go from there, really. Right? When you hear this, I can extend this to people who talk about you know, what's the best rep range? Well, you need to be training with 8 to 10 reps for 4 sets. It's like, for who? Like, and under what circumstances? Is it the same across the board for everybody? Like, males, females, advanced, beginners, powerlifters, bodybuilders? Well, like, what are we talking about? And who are we talking about? Most of the studies that you see online, you have to remember, are done with beginners. As far as I'm aware, there is no study online on hypertrophy that's been done with an elite level group, or even an advanced level group of people, I mean, of athletes, right? They're all done with beginners, and the problem with that is that the entry for muscle growth is very low on beginners, which means that no matter what you do, you're gonna grow muscle from training, especially if you're consistent with it, right? Which in most of these studies, they are very consistent, to be honest, and that's pretty much the only good thing about the studies. But it's about beginners, so you can't really tell. And the other big problem with the studies is that they're time limited. So not only you test a group who are beginners and the entry to muscle growth is much lower than an advanced lifter, but you're also testing them for 3 weeks. You can't really tell what works best for hypertrophy in 3 weeks. Because within 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks, I mean, that's not true for beginners either, so I guess that's not even the case. But I was going to say that for me, 3 to 4 weeks, maybe 3 to 5 weeks, is where I typically need a deload week. Because I'm going very, very hard in the gym. I'm training 4 times a week, 4 or 5 times a week. So I need a deload week to perform better. So my performance on week 1 is not going to be the same with my performance on week 5, obviously, right? But if you've done a study for only 3 weeks, then you've got the best of me. And that's not how it works. Not across, not at length. If you are going to talk about what's the best thing to do in general, that means in 10, 20 years of training. There's no study that has tested people for a long enough period of time for me to come out and say, yeah, this study is legit. And most of them, like 90+% of them, are done with beginners. You can't listen to the studies, guys. I mean, it's cool science, you know, sometimes we can learn things, of course, I'm not saying we can't, but they're not accurate unless you're a beginner. But even then, it's like, bro, just go to the gym and displace some heavy weight and you're gonna see some results. That's all there is to it. It's not rocket science, right? It becomes a bit more of a science thing the more you grow, but that's about it. Enough of a rant. I'm gonna see you inside the gym with legs. Oh, that was a good stretch, wasn't it? Especially the last few reps. I think I stayed down there for about 2-3 seconds, which is, I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but it is a lot. I felt nice. There is a nerds to go heavier here. I also wanted to say, last time I watched the video and it didn't seem like I was going deep enough. It seemed that I was stopping here, or there rather. Now I'm sending it. Now like I'm really paying attention to it. And I think I'm going lower than before, which is obviously good. It's just, look, if you're gonna use a machine for the first time, the first few sets might not be perfect. That's fine, right? But obviously, always pay attention and always fix anything that might not be correct. Right, let's do the second and last set. I'm gonna keep the weight, you know? I'm not gonna be stupid today. When I say go heavier, I don't mean another 20, but another 5 kilos aside, maybe 10 kilos aside, I would do. But that's fine. That's fine. Let's do this. Good stuff. I think here technically we have to do 4 sets because last time I think we only did 2. We're supposed to do 3, but we'll see. The other thing with this is I don't remember how heavy I went last time. This is heavier, I can tell, but still, I would have liked to have that baseline. But that's all right. This is 90 kilos, I think, 90 or 95. It's a bit hard to see from up here, but that's all right. Let's do the first set. Okay, not bad. That was not a bad set at all. How many sets? How many reps was that? No clue. That's all right. Yeah, pretty happy with it. We're gonna do one more. Nice. Oh, that was a good set. All of the sets were good. It's just obviously, as you accumulate lactic acid, they feel a bit better. Or that you've done more work, you know what I mean? In any case, and up here, I'm gonna do some leg extensions. So this is either very stupid
or not so much. So I could find 20s, but there weren't enough around, which is a problem that I have sometimes. But I could find 25s. So we have 5 25s, which, if I can do math, it's 5 kilo more than last time. And last time we had 120 kilos on, so 125 now. I'm pretty sure I'm correct, right? 125, yeah. So this is heavier than last time. Progressive overload, I guess. Now let's do the first set. That's about it. Let's get it. The pressure was real on that one. Do you know what annoys me? I want to do a little bit more, but I don't know what the fuck am I gonna do. Is that a calf machine? That'd be fun. Fuck it, it's alright. You know what? Drop set? It's not a bad idea. Let's do a drop set. I'm gonna take 225s off. I don't know how many reps I can do here. It's a drop set. However many. That's it. That's it. Ooh.